All right, we're back with the mayor of Boca Raton, Florida, Scott Singer, who's also the chairman of the Mayor's Council at the American First Policy Institute, AFPI, a very, very pro-Trump D.C. think tank, Scott. And that's relevant because of this little story that I kind of teased before the break. A friend of mine's in town, and he was walking, and he took a picture of a little park. And let's show the picture, if you don't mind, guys. There's a park, and there's a Christmas tree, little manger scene off to the left there. But this sign is basically... I would call it a woke sign, Scott. It's basically said no taxpayer money was used in the administration or putting up of this scene. Can you? Oh, here we go. This display is provided by a private organization at no public expense. Does not constitute an endorsement by the city of Boca Raton of any religion or any religious doctrine. So the question is, when did Christmas, when did holidays, when did Hanukkah become politicized? And I just want to make sure it's just not just the Christmas tree that gets that sign. Is that right, Scott?
Well, right. So that's our Sanborn Square. That's our free speech area. And to the contrary, that sign reflects our strong support for religion in the city by the groups who wanted to put up the manger, a Hanukkah menorah, Christmas tree. We've had that area as a public park. Years ago, someone wanted to come in and did come in with an application to put up a pentagram there. And the initial response by some people was, well, let's abolish the free speech area. And instead, we said, no, we had our church groups, our religious leaders all coming in and saying, we don't mind. You know, if someone wants to try to mock our faith, we're not deterred. We want to be able to put up our manger. And if that means someone else can occasionally, apply for something else, so be it. So that reflects that our commitment here, we understand that people want to express their faith, and we've given an area for them to do it. And I think that's important.
I do too. Protect the religious freedom, certainly in Boca and the United States. In Portland last week, they created quite an uproar when they did a Christmas tree lighting, but they called it the tree, and they refused to call it a Christmas tree. There it is, right there. They called it the Portland woke tree lighting ceremony sparks outrage. They can't even say Christmas tree. They called it the tree. Just a quick thought on that, Scott, and we'll move on.
Again, there's been a litigation going back decades about, where you blur the line about support for things. There are things that are certainly secular. There are things that are religion. But bottom line is we are, faith runs deep in our country's history, in our country's currency. It's important. And I think we need more faith in the country, and we can have different faiths, but people should be free to exercise and enjoy them. Portland has so many other issues we need to get into there. But if I may pivot back, Eric, you mentioned the America First Policy Institute Mayor's Council. I think it is very important you mentioned that. I'm proud to be the first chair of it and proud to work with 50 mayors across the nation who are focused on advancing the America First agenda, because what President Trump has already accomplished, an amazing amount, unprecedented in less than 1 year, is very important, but we need to take those gains and good policy ideas from Washington down to Main Street and find better ties. So the Mayor's Council works to find better policies, share better practices, try to advance ideas at the local level, and hopefully it'll be a springboard to encourage more people to get involved locally. President Trump's not going to be on the ballot ever again, but we need to make sure that conservative America First voters stay engaged, and that includes from time to time turning out for elections. In the meantime, we mayors are trying to focus on policies that can advance the agenda.
So a mayor who's very pro-Trump heads the AFPI, which is a feeder into the Trump administration for folks working who want to stay in politics. They go from the think tank into the admin. Scott, the thought, I think we had talked about possibly you're entertaining the idea of running for U.S. Congress?
I am, and I'm always looking for more ways to serve my community. I'm term limited as mayor in March. It's been a great run, and I've been proud of what we've been able to accomplish to keep common sense policies, promote business, promote families, promote growth in our city. But looking for ways to work with other mayors to do this in their cities, and yes, considering other ways to serve, including possibly U.S. Congress. It's been flattering that a lot of people have encouraged me to consider this, and we all understand how vitally important it is that this Congress, the next Congress, remains Republican so that President Trump can move forward on the agenda and they can start codifying more of the gains from the executive orders. If the Republicans lose the House, then we're just going to have a lot more nonsense with subpoenas and more things that'll just delay things. We need to move forward on these gains. And if I have an opportunity to serve, which I'm considering, I would give that great consideration.
And obviously, an endorsement from Trump will be massive in that respect, number one. Number two, there may be some retirements coming up. And if I'm not mistaken, the representative for Boca is a Democrat. Am I right?
There is, and there's also redistricting that's coming, and that's another opportunity here where there are some legal challenges to the existing districts. The state will have to determine that, but I continue to look for ways to serve my community. This is just another one of those, and it's just an honor to be suggested that people consider I look at that, which I am.
There we go. Very good. Very good. We like to redistrict because I know there's a lot of New York Democrats that come down and make Boca their home. We could use a good, strong conservative mayor, strong mayor who's a pro-Trump guy and endorsed by Trump in Florida. Let's keep them coming that way. Scott Singer, go ahead.
Thank you. Just one note to close out on that. The good news is the people, at least from my perspective, the people who've come to Florida over the last few years coming for our lower taxes are voting red. We've now had a net gain of 1.7 million more Republicans than we did Democrats 7 years ago. So it's not so much concern that Democrats are fleeing New York's bad policies. It's conservatives and ordinary families who don't want to be taxed. And I think that matters. And we'll continue to try to create a climate where businesses and families can thrive.
So long as they stay out of the roadways and out of my neighborhoods. Good having you on, my friend. Good talking to you. I'll see you around town. Scott Singer, Mayor of Boca Raton, Florida. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Remember, I can say that I came from New York, 30 years in New York, and I'm done with them. All right, folks, watch this.
I almost passed away from COVID. And when I was in the hospital, the doctor told me, I want you to know my team's going to do everything we can, but you need to call your family and you need to say whatever you need to say. I was kind of having these images in my head of me being in a casket and them having to have extra people carry me. I was weighing 270. You know, I still struggled with the whole weight thing. I tried a couple of different things and it just wasn't working. I want to live a full life. I'm 6 feet and I'm weighing 228 right now. All of that's changed, but my mindset has changed. My clarity, my memory. I mean, I could go on and on. There's so much that has changed.
When someone's not feeling well or their best, a simple dinner with friends can feel like a burden. Here to tell us how to feel our best all the time is founder of Energized Health, John Jubilee. Before we jump into that, John, my deepest condolences for your Ohio State Buckeyes who went down to who's your daddy, Indiana Hoosiers. I'm sorry. We'll get into that if you want at the backside of this. But go ahead. Tell us, how do we stay healthy? And by the way, when you don't feel good, it's not just you. You make everyone else around you miserable too, right?
Well, it is, right? Because nobody wants to say it. You know, nobody wants to tell you you look terrible, you look sick, or maybe you actually really are sick or in a bad situation. And so, yeah, it has a domino effect that goes on there. But, you know, I love one of the things this guy said that, you know, it doesn't sound like a gift, Eric, when he says it, but, you know, he was really looking at death, like real death. And isn't it amazing that one of his things, even looking at death, is, oh my word, I'm so heavy, extra men are going to have to bring in a couple extra reserve guys to carry my coffin just because I didn't take care of myself. But he got another chance. You know, he got another chance at life and he did something about it. So this guy is in the midst of his 88-day protocol, by the way. He's not even done his first 88 days, down almost 50 pounds of fat. But you know what I love? It's not even just the weight. His mindset, his clarity, his mental acuity has all leveled up. And I love it that every area of his life is being impacted.
So, you know, we'll talk a little bit about the role of hydration, specifically intracellular hydration. How does it help restore the ability to participate in life again? Maybe even get weekend warrior, get back out on the trails.
Well, that's it. You know, the brain is supposed to be 70% water. It's supposed to be 70% water. So just picture if your brain is a big healthy grape, it has its full 70% like a big juicy grape. But if you're dehydrated, it looks like the shriveled up raisin. And if it looks like that shriveled up raisin, it functions like a shriveled up raisin because you can lose half your neurotransmitters, half your brain synapses. Basically, half your brain power can go away because of one thing, dehydration in those brain cells.
So what's the first step then? You know, so you pick up the phone, we call you guys, but what's the first thing that you're going to tell us to do when we call you?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You know, absolutely. The first step, guys, just get on a phone call. Get on a phone call. It doesn't cost you anything, and you get some professional advice from people that have helped tens of thousands of people to get healthy. So just pick up that phone, you know, and get on a phone call and find out for where you are, what is your first step? Everyone's first step is not the same. It depends where you are, what your journey has been. But the good news is we have helped tens of thousands of people for 28 years, and we can give you your first step. Yeah. And Eric, I just have to let you know, brother, Buckeye Nation is happy. We are joyful. We're so happy for Indiana that they finally got to win a Big Ten championship. You know, most of us weren't alive last time they won one. So we like to have good competition.
If I'm not mistaken, Jubilee, if I'm not mistaken, I think we did have a dinner bet over that game. I'm not positive. I think we may. I'll have to go check the videotape from last week. I think it was. Anyway, John, really good having you.
Hey, we're just like last year, though. This is how we roll. This is how we lose a game and then we win the national title.
As I was telling Gruber, because I bet Indiana before the season started, I got these major odds, and if they end up being Indiana, Ohio State in the championship, I can bet Ohio State and lock in a win there. My friend, good talking to you, pal. John Jubilee, Energized Health. Folks, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.